to take in. So here to give us his perspective is Congressman Mike Kelly. Thank you, as always, for coming in. We appreciate it. Let's start with Steve Bannon stepping down. I mean, he's obviously a guy who had the president's ear. Do you think that this is a sign of anything changing with how President Trump is operating?
No, I don't think so. I think the agenda during the campaign was pretty well articulated by President Trump. There's a lot more people than just Steve Bannon weighing in on it. So no, I think we'll go on and keep going forward. The president's agenda was really about making America great again through a lot of different issues and a lot of different legislative moves. So we'll see. Pro-growth tax reform, one of them, as you know. Infrastructure was a big part of it. Rebuilding our military was a big part. So we got to keep concentrating on those things. And there's a lot of distractions now. And so you say, well, you know what? What about this? Say, let's do this. Let's get America back to work again. Let's make sure that every single person has that opportunity to see some growth in their life. So I think that's the key to it.
Is there some concern, like from where you're sitting, just about all of the turnover that really has been in his administration? It's odd to see this many people come and go, especially early in an administration.
Yeah, well, I think the main thing, remember, we're 7 months into this administration. I just think when you look at a person like Donald Trump from the private sector, they operate a little bit differently. When things aren't working the right way, you go to that source, you say, listen, we've got to replace this right now. We can't play around with this. I think in politics, and especially in the public sector, I see too much of it. We're going to stick with the same thing because we've always done that. That hasn't worked very well for America. And at $20 trillion in debt right now, that turnover doesn't bother me as long as the turnover is in a positive direction and we keep moving forward.
Now, obviously, President Trump received a lot of criticism over the way he initially and then even after the fact handled what was going on in Charlottesville, Virginia. You issued a statement of your own. What are your thoughts on what he said and what his perspective was?
So I think the president speaks for himself, and I think too often members, politicians especially, like to weigh in on what the president says, whether it was President Obama or now President Trump, and give their criticism of the president. I think as a legislator, you give your opinion, you put it out there, you let people read it. That's what I felt about it. I think we stated very clearly that there's no room in America for this type of behavior and the white supremacists, that type of thing, and neo-Nazis. That's what my father and a lot of my friends had fought against. So I can't say, yeah, it's okay to have that type of speech. Hate speech on either side is not good for any of us. As far as criticizing the president, I think the president made himself pretty clear. But this president, and this isn't me, but honestly, if we were to go up to Cleveland right now, and he were to walk across the lake to Canada and come back again, there are people saying, you know what, just proves that guy can't swim. So I look at it, honestly, there's some people, no matter what President Obama said or what President Trump is saying, it's never going to be long enough, strong enough, or the way they would have said it. I get that, but we're all human beings. I think he stated very clearly his feelings about it, and I think that we're dwelling on that too long. I want to get back to the things that really affect the people that I represent, and that is we've got to have an economy that's strong for every single American. It doesn't matter what party you're in or what religion you are, the color of your skin it is. Do you still have that opportunity that America promised everybody? And I think that's the key. We got to keep working towards that. Well,
I'm curious. I mean, you mentioned some of the distractions, and Democratic Congressman Steve Cohen said that he planned to introduce impeachment legislation when you guys get back in session. Do you think that'll have any traction? Will that be another distraction? What's your take?
Well, I think that we're looking at identity politics right now as opposed to policy discussion. Listen, if that's what the representative wants to do, he can do that. I don't think it gets much traction. Maybe it gets a little face time. And it just seems increasingly more to me that if I can just get on TV, if I can just get seen, if I can just get the spotlight on me, then I've accomplished something. And I said, it's not about you. It's not about me. I represent 705,687 people in Pennsylvania's 3rd Congressional District. If it was just about me, well, then I got to stop. I got to step outside of that. If you want to be a monarch, you do those type of things. But if you want to be a representative, you look at those issues that are really affecting the people that you represent, how it affects your state, how it affects our country. So searching for a spotlight is okay, but as Andy Warhol said, you know, that searching for that 15 minutes of fame in the future is going to be what people do. I think we're seeing it right now. Just get me on TV, let me make a statement. It can be outrageous. It can be totally something that I don't even believe in, but if I got on TV, I really got it made. I think that is really doing a disservice to the people who elect you.
Well, it's interesting how you say that, too, because you're talking about the people who you're representing. You met with a group of them, and it wasn't on TV. It was behind closed doors. Why did you do that? What made you want to do that?
Well, listen, I like to hear from people in a setting where they can actually talk back and forth. And we've done since I first got elected, 7 years. We like to do telephone town halls. We used to do town halls where we'd go to see people. But the size of the district was so big that, and the cost of getting to places, and then the comfort of being in a place where you can actually sit down and have a dialogue, as opposed to people yelling and screaming. I don't think people like that, and most people recoil from that. So we had a really excellent time on Friday to go to Meadville and talk to folks. I didn't even know what they represented. A lot of them from the faith-based community, some of them from had theories on education and how we would get to certain areas. But being able to sit down with people and actually hear from them. And at the end of the day, as I was walking out, one of the folks that work in Meadville at the press said, "Well, how'd you think it went?" I said, "You know what? The better question is to ask each of those people that we sat with, ask them how it went, because I'm more concerned in what they thought about it than what I thought about it." I thought it was wonderful to have a chance to sit down and have a meaningful discussion one-on-one with all those folks, and people getting to be able to explain what it is that really concerns them, and us being able to hear it and say, okay, fine, I like that. And I ask people all the time, listen, tell me what it is you're concerned about, tell me why you're concerned about it, and the very last thing and most important, tell me how you would fix it. Because I hear people tell me this is wrong, and that's why I say, okay, I get that. I agree with you.
And now you get their opinions.
How would you fix it?
100%.
And then they say, well, wait a minute. I said, no, we have to, listen, we all want to get to an answer, but I think when you have a group think and you look at policy, stay away from these identity politics. It doesn't matter how you register, how you vote, where you go to church, what neighborhood you live in. Your voice is important. Let's do it civilly. Let's do it in the right way, the way Americans should be able to talk about issues.
And hearing their voice. Congressman Kelly, we're out of time, but thank you so much, as
Steve,
always, for joining us. Good to